Welcome to the Real Estate Syndication Show. Whether you are a seasoned investor or building a new real estate business, this is the show for you. Whitney Sewell talks to top experts in the business. Our goal is to help you master real estate syndication. And now your host, Whitney Sewell.
This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. Today our guest is Jackie Gibson. Thanks for being on the show, Jackie.
Hi, Whitney. Thanks for having me.
Jackie plays a large role in behind the scenes for the Spartan Investment Group. And I think it's a great, she's going to be a great guest because we don't get to have many people on the show that are doing all these things in the background that aren't seen and that are so important. And Jackie, would you tell us a little bit about what exactly you do, and give us some details about the day-to-day things that you perform at Spartan?
Sure. Well, I'm Director of Operations for Spartan Investment Group, so I handle the day-to-day for all of our cash-flowing assets, so self-storage, and we also own an RV park. So basically, I handle the hiring, the firing, all of the HR aspects. I handle the purchasing, the basic asset and property management, putting systems into place so that we can manage remotely, and from afar, and then building teams to help operate those facilities.
Nice. So, let's go through a couple of those, and just so you can help us maybe to have better processes or systems, in our business. And I know, one thing you mentioned was systems to manage remotely. Could you tell us, a little bit about, how, what can we put in our business to help us, manage more efficiently or even remotely?
Sure. Well, there's a number of key things that you can put in place. Technology is key to helping, keep oversight over your investments and your assets. And then also just, standard operating procedures and processes in place, and making sure that you set expectations for your team. So those are kind of three key things. Just to kind of go into a bit of detail. So for our self-storage facility, we purchased that facility, and it's remotely managed. So the number one thing that we did was we built a website and also put in some property management software to allow customers to book online. Because there's nobody there at the facility, we needed to also have a call center so that people could call in to book a unit, also go online to book a unit as well. And it's really great. We thought that we were going to have trouble, renting up those units, but actually it has worked very well. And there's, you do need to put a team on the ground as far as maintenance, making sure you have your landscaping, your snow removal. You still need those pieces in place. And so that's key to build a strong team on the ground. But when you put that technology in place, it really helps to keep your mind, off of the asset and for things to run smoothly, so that you can, focus on, raising rents and making money for your investors.
Nice. So you all have a call center, so you manage remotely. Tell me about how a call center works.
Yeah, so our call center is open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have access to our management software, and they have access to our website. And so the call center just fields calls. So a potential customer can call in, and they're trained on sales, so they can sell a unit for the facility. They also have all of the details on our property. So if an existing customer calls in with questions, they're usually able to answer those questions. And essentially they're the first line to work with the customer. And then if there is a major tenant issue or customer issue, then it would come to me, and I can handle it. But it's really nice to know that the majority of customer touch points are actually handled by trained professionals in a call center.
So are those virtual assistants, or are those people in your office, or what is that?
Yeah, so in this instance, it's actually a company called Easy Storage Solutions. And so we work with them. They have the software and they actually have an in-house call center. And this is fairly common in the self-storage industry. There's a number of call centers that are trained on selling and working in management software, so they can actually go ahead and book units on your behalf as an owner.
That's interesting that they're going to be selling for many self-storage facilities. So really, as long as they know who the client or the customer is calling in about, pretty much what they're talking about or saying is going to be very similar or the same for majority of the places they're going to receive calls about, right?
Exactly. They're well trained. That's all that they do. They work with other self-storage facilities. Actually, it's funny, when I have a question, I tend to ask my support team, with my call center, because I find that they have dealt with it. They've already dealt with so many different situations, and they're just pros. And so it's really wonderful to have them kind of on your team, on your side.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other pieces of technology that have been just really useful that you found to help your all's business that maybe somebody else that's listening could benefit from?
Well, I know that this is silly, but having security cameras on site is also key. Just kind of really keeping a pulse on the day-to-day goings of your facility. We have a facility in Colorado, and just, even looking at the cameras after hours and just seeing, oh, it snowed there last night, and just kind of keeping a pulse on what's going on, that's key. But then also, so the security cameras as technology, but also having the property management software is also very important. And, there are so many wonderful softwares out there for all facets of property management and operations. And it's really neat what they're doing. You just sign in, and there's a clean dashboard that shows you your occupancy, shows you your revenue, your delinquencies. So it's just really clean. It helps to organize everything. You can now email, you can text from that software. So it's just really a one-stop shop. And that has just been a key piece of technology that we use with our self-storage and with our RV park as well.
So is the software also through Easy Storage Solutions?
We actually use two different storage softwares. We also use StoreEdge, which is another software. Typically, storage is more robust. It's for larger properties, but they all offer 360, solutions, and they're both wonderful for daily operations.
So, being able to do all these tasks and handle the operations, what was your background before maybe getting with Spartan? How did you know how to do all these things?
Yeah, well, I actually have a strong hotel operations background. So when they told me I was going to be, managing an RV park, I was like, oh, well, that sounds kind of easy. It's exciting to me because, dealing with hotels and nightly stays is something that is very familiar. And so that's kind of how I fit well into the Spartan team. And self-storage actually is very similar to hotels as well. Same terms, your occupancy, your RevPAR, all of those terms, are put to good use with self-storage and RV parks. And so I managed a hotel. I worked as a project manager for a hotel company, and then also planned large conferences all over the country. So having that strong logistics project management background has been really key in building teams and building systems to operate these facilities.
Nice. So so you've had a long history of, like you said, managing teams, and that's helped with the Spartan side. Tell us a little bit about the team and just the day-to-day operations of managing a team of your all size and what you do with that.
Sure. Well, so we have the Spartan team, so there's 5 of us, and we all have our niche. So we've got our investment officer, we have our acquisitions a director of acquisitions. We have CEO Scott Lewis. He handles all of our strategy. Lindsay, she handles our business intelligence, all of our research, feasibility, due diligence for our projects, and then I handle operations. But then there's also the asset level. So for instance, with our facility in Texas, I have 2 managers and a maintenance guy for that facility. So then you're talking about the teams that are on the ground, and that are, really the frontline employees, and the face of your business.
Tell us about, or give us maybe an example of a difficult situation with an employee, maybe some way that you had to handle it, or what you had to do that maybe we're going to run into and have to deal with ourselves.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. There are so many different examples because
Right.
there's always, when you're remotely managing and, as owners, you have expectations, you have to answer to your investors. And then, I feel like I'm the middleman often, because I'm working in the trenches with, my managers that are on property, and then we have the investors as well. So, you need to marry the 2 expectations, because, I know what the pressures are there on site, but then I also know the pressures and how we need to perform for our investors. So, I would say that the most common issue that occurs is, lack of communication or miscommunication. And I really think just putting strong tools in place. So we use a Google Docs and a Google spreadsheet, and basically we call it our weekly sheet. And every time I have a question or I need to, stay up to date on what's going on property, I list it out there, and then my managers know to go in and to answer those questions, and we have a continuous dialogue through those items. And it's a really great way to keep track of what's important to me, what's important to them, and what we're moving the bar on. So, oftentimes it feels like there's so many things that we need to get done and we need to move forward with, and sometimes it feels like you're stuck. But when you have that sort of open dialogue, you understand what their burning issues are there on property. So, what may be something that is important to me might not seem as important to them, because they're dealing with a fire, something on property that to them is a big deal, and that they're dealing with, and, they're dealing with angry customers. And so, that's their main priority. And so just really balancing those different expectations, and just really, constantly working on the communication. I think that is usually the main, when there are problems, that's usually the main theme.
Communication breakdown.
Yeah. Communication breakdown.
Yeah. So how are you hiring employees from that distance? How do you know you're getting somebody that's qualified?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And actually, with one of our facilities in Texas, there's such a hiring boom that it's been very difficult to find labor. I luckily found 2 really great managers. Their skill sets complement each other. So really what I did, I had trouble finding a full-time manager. So I actually found 2 part-time managers that, one of them, she's got a military background. She actually was a stay-at-home mom, and she, had prior work experience, but was trying to kind of get back into the swing of things. And so we brought her on, and she's been excellent, and she lives nearby, and she's like mother hen of the property. And then my other part-time manager, she has the strong marketing background. And she lives in an RV. She has quite a bit of RV experience. And so it's really great to have those 2 skill sets complement each other. And I found that was difficult to find with one person. And, what I was doing in that area, at first I was, posting on Craigslist and kind of looking there, and I was having some trouble finding people. And what I found was actually going on Facebook. And this is a very rural community, and they have a very strong community presence on Facebook. So it's the community Facebook page, and there's actually 3 of them. And as soon as I posted information about the job, I got a tremendous amount of interest. They were also, living near the property or right around the corner. And so that's a huge benefit as well. And so that actually worked out very well for us. You know, and it also depends. I would say it varies by asset and where the asset is located, and you know, really, you know, what skill sets you need. But in this instance, because it was such a rural community, I found that specific Facebook outreach actually was very effective.
Nice. Where would you say that in most, obviously we're talking about real estate, but you know, in the business aspect or in the office are going to be places that things break down, you know, or that people don't have the process in place that they need. And so, you know, they may make it for 6 months, a year, even 2 years, their business grows, and then it starts to fall apart. You know, can you give us maybe some systems that you all have developed that you help with that really help you all just to keep everything in focus and just that system operating day to day?
Yeah, well, so I think the key to that is just constantly building systems and constantly evaluating the systems that you have and setting in place certain milestones and dates when you revisit those systems and get into a room and reevaluate them. You know, we hold quarterly strategic planning meetings where we evaluate what we're doing in our little wheelhouses, because, you know, we all have a specific niche. And so we really make sure that we're all aligned with the vision of the company, and we evaluate our communication with each other. We evaluate the performance in our specific business areas. And, you know, it's constant. We do, you know, constantly train each other. You know, one thing that is really neat that we do is, you know, we schedule bi-monthly meetings with the team to, you know, kind of run through our operational area. So even if, you know, Ryan is handling investments and he's focused on that piece, I may be over here in operations and I may be experiencing a certain challenge. And I really love to constantly fall on the experience of the team, and just everyone kind of comes together and we are constantly brainstorming and just always being humble and never, always kind of asking each other and bouncing ideas off of each other. So just kind of having that regular cadence of check-ins, of brainstorming sessions and strategy sessions, so that, you know, you all can kind of come together and help one another, and also just make sure you're staying on mission, on course.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's some great advice. Before we run out of time, tell us what Spartan Investment Group's excited about right now.
Yeah, well, we're excited. We're evaluating a number of deals, so we're just really excited about, you know, sending out more LOIs and exploring more properties and acquiring more facilities. We're excited for our cash flowing assets and how well they're performing, and we're adding revenue streams, and just constantly, you know, looking forward to just adding more benefits to our investors and more cash flow and stronger returns. So we're really excited for that.
Nice.
We're also really excited for just expanding our investor base and just getting out there and talking to more people and helping everyone just, you know, with their investments and allowing them to passively invest successfly with Spartan.
Yeah. Tell the listeners how they can learn more about Spartan and can reach you all.
Sure. So you can reach us at our website, which is spartaninvestors.com. And there's an intake form there on the website, and that actually comes directly to me. So if you're curious about Spartan, if you have any questions for us, or just are interested in our projects and what we're doing and would love to chat with us, just fill out one of those forms, and we look forward to touching base and getting back to you.
I appreciate the listeners being on or listening to the show today, and I hope you'll subscribe. And Jackie, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Whitney. Appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Syndication Show, brought to you by Life Bridge Capital. Life Bridge Capital works with investors nationwide to invest in real estate, while also donating 50% of its profits to assist parents who are committing to adoption. Life Bridge Capital, making a difference, one investor and one child at a time. Connect online at www.lifebridgecapital.com for free material and videos to further your success.